This is Speaking of Writers. I'm Steve Richards. This is the Speaking of Writers podcast. I'm Steve Richards. The book is Lost Legacies, book one, the author Marie Nye-Shutt. It is her debut. And a supernatural romance packed with mystery, forbidden attraction, and a world hiding more secrets than it reveals. Marie shares the inspiration behind her paranormal universe, how journaling became her refuge during tough times, and the lifelong creativity that brought her characters to life, from her love of autumn to the quotes that have guided her journey. And welcome to Marie Nye-Shutt. So this is your debut, and start by telling me a little bit about Lost Legacies and how this story began for you.
Okay, so when I was younger, I used to I escape into my own little world when things were really tough. So I would have a bunch of I started making up my own worlds, my own fantasy worlds that I was happy and excited in, and I like where I was the hero and things like that. So that's how it came about. It but I've always had a thing for supernatural things like vampires, werewolves, witches, all of that. So I decided to make that my world that I would come into. And when I did this, I decided to try to do it as different as I could, because with my world, there is more than just vampires and witches and all that, and it's pretty cool. So, and that's how it came about. I would also have dreams where I would have dreams about what I wanted to put in there, and I would start writing it down. So that's what I would do. That's how it came about.
Marie, what drew you to the supernatural genre, and how did you build the world your characters live in?
I built the world. What drew me to the supernatural genre is that I watched I watched a lot of supernatural stuff. Like I would watch Supernatural the series, obviously, and then I would watch Vampires. I would watch Vampire Diaries. I would watch the originals. I would watch Legacies and all of that. And that's what drew me in. I just like that because it's kind of cool, the idea of having something like more out there instead of just humans. And so that's why I did that. So,
Mm.
and as for my world, how it came about, actually, I was sitting one day and I was thinking about it, and I was like, okay, now I want them to be here, but I want them to have their own little area that they're in. Because as the story goes, they are despised in that story. So they have their little shadow realm that they're in. And so that's how I started creating the world in my mind. And the shadow realm is like a magical world. So like things just start appearing out of nowhere. It's pretty cool. So I like it a lot.
I mentioned journaling in the introduction, poetry, songwriting growing up. How has your personal story shaped your writing voice?
How is was because when So it's hard for me to talk about sometimes. A lot of bad things happened to me when I was younger, and I needed to um, find a way where I was accepted for who I was, where I could escape from all the bad that was going on in my life, and just be able to use what happened in my life as part of the story when I was younger. So the things that have happened in my personal life, like things that have came up, like abuse and other things like that that I struggled with when I was that I had to deal with when I was younger. I just needed an escape, and I needed an escape where a world I was loved in and cared about, and that I actually meant something. So because my dad, he was the biggest one, because my dad he made me who I am today. My dad was an amazing man. He was sweet. He was funny. He was just, and he always had a grin on his face. And so he made my world easier. So some of my characters are literally based off of my family, the people that made me happy and I was safe with and I felt security with and I enjoyed being around. And so that's how some of the characters or personalities are kind of based off that.
Let,
So
let's talk about those characters, two of them, Dylan and Rose. Their connection is magnetic and complicated too. What inspired their dynamic? Is it sounds like a few family members, right?
And Rose, I will admit, Rose is kind of based off of my own personality. So, and she is, I always have struggled with my own, my own insecurities. And I was an average person, and I wanted Rose to kind of be based off of that and how she is like, she struggled with that. And as she grew, more and more she realized that there was so much more to her than she realized. And for Dylan, um he is what I call would be like my dream guy, because I always had this picture of a guy in my head. He had like jet black hair, and he was tall, and he had these gorgeous blue eyes. And so I was like, yeah, that's what I'm going to base off. But his personality wise is based off of relationships I have had in my past where there was some cool people. Like one of them was a guy named David. He was really sweet, really great. And so he kind of was based off him. So, and so that's how they kind of came into the story. I kind of used some of my own personal experience with that and my past stuff that I dealt with. And what Rose had been through with what had happened with her and why her situation came about, where she was just heartbroken and felt she wasn't good enough. So
Without
yeah.
giving too much away here, there's a mystery around Rose's identity. Did you plan that from the start, or did it evolve as you were
Oh
writing?
yeah. Oh no, I planned it from the start because I wanted her to start off as someone that. So I will bring up Shanice. So Shanice, she kind of was supposed to be at the beginning. Everyone's just loved her. Okay, and Shanice was also the one that encouraged Rose. So Rose is, she's just she starts off very boring at first, and you think she's not that great at first, but there's so much mystery behind her that she didn't even know about, that she's like, and as the story moves on, she evolves more, and then she becomes a very fun, loving, interesting character, a strong character. She is my heroine. So I just wanted it to start off like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and put one girl in here who people are gonna love right away, and that was Shanice. And then we were going to have Rose, who, in the first place, she was already shy in the first place. For her to be insecure and shy in the first place, she is going to be more, I'm just going to stay quiet and not say nothing and just listen to everybody else, because I don't feel so great about myself. And so she starts off very normal, very boring at first, but she's very sweet, though. She's normal and sweet, but she's very shy. And so at first, that's how the story starts off. And as she gets built up more, as she builds up more, she becomes someone that just is loved, just completely loved. So, and I, of course, since I am the one who wrote about and made her, I loved her from the beginning, and so did my stepdaughter. She loved her from the beginning, and she is actually not. And that's the other thing I forgot to mention is Rose is not just based off of me; she's based off of my stepdaughter too, and so she's a mix of both of us, and so. We all start off a little shy, and everyone thinks we're a bit stuck up at first because we don't talk, we don't say nothing, or we're just boring people. But once they get to know us, we're a lot of fun. So, and that's how I started Rose off like that. So, but
Marie, I want
her
to talk.
mystery is definitely. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I want to
Go ahead.
talk a little bit about your creative process. Are you a plotter, or do you let the outliner, or do you let the story unfold as you're writing it?
I start off with a base plot, and then as I write, I start to make the story starts to make itself. So I don't have a full out like outline right away. It's just the beginning of my story. And then as I move in through the process, I start thinking about the things that would be cool to add in there. I'll take notes on a little notebook. That's a funny story too, if you want to hear that one later. But I have a notebooks that I'll write down on, and I'll write ideas down. And as I go through the story, I'll put them in when where I want to put them in. So, and that's so it does make itself pretty much. It balls itself. And it's my ideas, but I kind of let the story write itself in a way. So
I want to hear that notebook story now. It had something to do with, did your aunt give you that notebook? What is
she
the
did. I
story?
actually so I in the past I have written before, but not books. Okay, and I didn't have a lot of people encouraging me to write, and so one day I was talking to my daughter. I used to do short stories like on my games that I would play. Like I play Final Fantasy, like a Final Fantasy game. And I would do short stories, and we had this whole series we were starting, me and my friends. And I worked on the newspaper and stuff like that. But I didn't have a lot. When I said I wanted to write, they were like, that's not a promising career. And I'm like, okay, well, I understand that, but I love to write. That's just who I am as a person. So I because I didn't have enough support in the back, helping me through my support system, wanting me to help me, encourage me to write. Um, I quit writing. And I was just like, I'm just gonna stop now. And then on my birthday, my Aunt Mavis had come, and then this was the first time my stepdaughter was at my birthday because she had originally lived somewhere else, and I had just moved her out here. And I go, what am I gonna do with this? I wish I had the book on me so I could show you it because okay, just a second, just a second. I'm gonna get the book, and just my daughter's gonna get the book, but.
Hmm.
So it's this tiny little thing. Okay. And it's Bigfoot. Okay. And I looked at her and I was like, what am I going to do with this? It's like, you know what I'm going to do with this? It's a little book. You can't do anything in it. And so she's all, well, Mom, you said you used to write. And I said, yeah, yeah, I did. She goes, well, why don't you start writing down ideas in that book? And as you write the ideas down, maybe it'll help you, inspire you more to write, get back to writing. Okay. And I was like, all right, fine, And so I started. I said, oh no, that's stupid, that's silly, because I actually laughed it off first. I was like, yeah, right. I haven't written in so long. I don't even know where that's going to come from. And then, so well, you never know. You never know. Okay, here it is.
There it
Here's the
is.
book.
There's the little book. There's the
There it is.
notebook. Bigfoot.
There's a little book.
I
This
love
is
it.
the start of my book. So yes. And so I was like, all right, okay. I said, so I'll just laugh this off and be like, yeah, right, that's not gonna happen. And then all of a sudden, I think was it that night? It was that night that all of a sudden I started getting ideas. And I was like, okay, well, I guess my ideas weren't over with after all. I guess I really miss writing. And so I started taking the notes and I was like, this is inspiring me to write. And then I just wrote this whole book. I honestly would not think it would turn into this like really fun book series. I was like, the more I thought about it, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to get this published, even though, I mean, we'll see how it goes. And so Rise Republic got a hold of me, and I was like, all right. It was actually May. She was the first one to talk to me. I don't know. May's not there now, but she calls me up and I told her the story. And she was like, oh, that sounds like a great book, a great story. And I was like, all right. And so I went and I decided that she wanted the manuscript. I sent her the first 5 chapters of it. And she loved it. And so did everyone else. They loved it. There were people who reviewed it, everything. They liked it and they thought it was really great. And then they asked me if I wanted someone to do marketing, and I added Frank. And well, they gave me Frank. And they've been wonderful, by the way. I love them. I love all of them. They've been really great and encouraging about things. But then I was like, all right, I'll start writing it. And then I kept getting calls, and she kept saying, May goes, oh, this is going to be amazing. I think this is a really great book. I think it's going to be a bestseller. I go, well, that would be awesome if it was, but I just want to get it out there at least, because I want to be able to have my book out there because it's a fun story. And so next thing I know, I start writing like crazy. And I was on a time limit. They had I was put on a time limit. So I was rushing through it way too much. So, but it turned out to be awesome. Like I had my stepdaughter read some of it, my cousin read some of it, one of my best friends, and she's just like, "This is a really cool book." And she like they couldn't stop turning the page. They were like
Mm.
so drawn into it, and I was like, "Okay, well, all right. I guess I still have it." So because it was actually a professor in my college that told me that I should go into that. And I was like, you should be an author, she said. And I was like, oh, whatever. I'm not that great. And yeah, anyways, that's how it all started.
And now
So,
you have your debut, Lost Legacies Book One. You also have a website too, lostlegacies.com. You can check
mhm.
out more on that.
Yes, I do.
You can get the book at writersrepublic.com, Amazon, and Barnes and Noble. Autumn is your favorite season. Does that show
Mhm.
up in the atmosphere or setting of the book?
Um, I think I mentioned it. I don't really set up the atmosphere. It's more like because Rose was supposed to be born in summer, her story starts out in summer. But it does talk about how she loves autumn. It does have I do bring in all the colors because the reason I love autumn is because of all the different colors that come into it. And like the leaves, how they change and all of that. But it's kind of mentioned in there a little bit. They talk about it a little bit, but not a lot. So
Lost
that
Legacies,
is
as
my
we
favorite
mentioned, is the
season. So
first in a series. Can readers expect more from Dylan and Rose?
oh yeah, they will. I actually there's I am going to learn so I'm going to say a couple things here. I've already started part two of the series, which is Hybrid Legacies. That's the title. Okay. And then there's also another series that there's book three. But after this first series is done, I'm actually it's not going to actually be over because after I get the first story down, there's going to be a extension from it, which is going to be very good. It's going to be exciting, and I cannot wait. And as for my book two, the one I've already started on, they're going to find a very the people when they read it are going to find a character that they absolutely love in there. He's funny and he's awesome. So I mean, there's more characters that are added in there, um, more people joining them and but the person I made, he was just awesome. And so I was like, I need to make someone so a bit complex and different that people are just going to be like, okay, this I like this one. So yeah, so that's that. I will let it on that. And then, like I said, after this series, after all of these, this series, this first part of the series is done, we go into the next series and that the extension of the series, which is going to be fun.
You can tell
So
Marie
I'm
Nye-Shutt
excited.
has a lot coming and she's excited and a lot of energy and really excited about what's to come too.
Mhm.
Lost Legacies Book One. What would you like readers? What's the main message you would like them to take away from this book?
So I have a few parts in there, but a lot of people, and I don't have a problem with the internet at all, but a lot of like my children kind of brought that in there. But like people spend more time on the internet worrying about what people are saying on the internet, Facebook likes, stuff like that. And I don't have a problem with that, the internet at all. But when it comes to there's people out there. There's something beyond the internet, and there is your family, and there's your friends who love you very much, and they want to see you. And then the other part of it is that love can come in every shape or form, and it's amazing, and it just expresses that people are who they are, and they're good people. And before you get to know, before you start making judgments on them right away, you figure out who they are as a person. And that has a lot to do with my past too, because I was bullied really bad in school. And so there was a lot of judgmental things happening. And so my base story is that we can all live in unity and happy, but we have to open ourselves to that instead of worrying about what's out there in the world right now. Looks, personality is a big one. Looks are not huge because the looks fade. Um, and there was more to it. I'm trying to think what else I was going to say. What else was I saying? Anyways, but it just basically you can find love no matter what. Okay, there it's anyone out there. It can come in any shape, form, or anything like that, and it doesn't matter. But deep down, they have a heart that's very strong and very loving. But you have to look beyond the surface. Is basically what my story is going on. And then the other part is a lot my daughter struggles my daughter Ruby, she struggles a lot in school with because she's a Christian like I am. She struggles a lot in school with people trying to pressure her to um sleep with people, act, to have sex with people, things like that, and she's in high school. My daughter is very strong about wanting to stay a virgin until she is married, okay? And so she in that story it does talk about morals where it doesn't matter if a person cares about you and loves you for who you are. If you want to wait, then you can wait. That person can wait. They will love you and accept it. And so, I mean, it's just a lot of morals that are in there that I really put in there too. So it's really good. Like looking on the inside, loving yourself, knowing that, just because people say things to you and like make fun of you or are mean to you doesn't mean you're not a beautiful person. And so, because everyone is beautiful in their own way. And that is where that comes from. And just having unity and spending time with your family instead of always internet's a big deal, but look beyond the internet because there's more people out there who actually want to spend time with you and love you. So that's how that is the main parts of the story.
She is Marie Nye-Shutt. It is Lost Legacies, book one, two more to come, and then more beyond that, too. So a lot more to come from Marie
Mm-hmm.
Nye-Shutt. A website is lostlegacies.com. You can get the book at writersrepublic.com, Amazon, and Barnes & Noble. Marie, thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. All
And
right.
thank
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 you.
you. Thank you for watching. This is the Speaking of Writers podcast. I'm Steve Richards. This is Speaking of Writers. I'm Steve Richards.